morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name's Alora and I make all things motherhood, faith, and lifestyle. If you'd like to stick around, be sure to subscribe down below. I am back with another eating on a budget video, which you all love, my eating on a budget video series. And if you haven't seen my previous ones, I'll be sure to link the playlist down below in the description box. They offer lots of great meal ideas, and I'm sure you are bound to find something that you will enjoy. I'm opening up this video bright and early on a Monday morning. It is actually Labor Day, so my husband is home with the kids right now, and I'm just going to do a quick grocery shop at Aldi. That is where I do all my shopping. If you were new here, I like to plan my meals around what Aldi sells just because I don't like going to other stores. So a lot of the meals you're going to see in this video are all Aldi friendly meals, which is always a win. But don't worry if you don't have an Aldi in your area, because these ingredients that I will be cooking with can be found at different stores as well. We are definitely classified as an ingredient household. I don't buy like pre-made meals or stuff like that. I buy ingredients to make meals. So like I said, a lot of these ingredients can be found at pretty much any grocery store. I just choose to shop at Aldi because I find that to be the cheapest. I'm back from the store, and I will say I came in under what I thought I would spend, so that felt great. When I saw the total at the very end, I was genuinely shocked because this was a big grocery trip. I bought a lot more meat than what I typically buy in a trip. I just also had to restock on a lot of pantry staples as well. So I was very happy with the total, which I'll share at the end. So let me start my grocery haul. I'm going to start off with all of the refrigerated items and then go from there. Starting off, I got some pizza dough and broccoli bites. I feel like I always have a stack of cheese in our house. Starting off, we got a block of Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, and these cheddar cheese sticks that the kids enjoy eating as a snack. We got some chip dip, and of course the chips to go with the dip. This is usually Kyle's go-to snack. We got my creamer and Kyle's creamer, some whole milk and half and half. I like using this as a heavy cream replacement, and I also like using this in my lattes as well. It just makes it really creamy and yummy. Tastes better than milk in my opinion. I also got a thing of butter. You will never not see butter in my fridge. I got 2 things of frozen broccoli, blueberries, and strawberries. Aroma tomato, this is for the chili tonight. And then I also got a bunch of bananas and some garden salad as a side. I got some pepperoni for Friday night pizza night and some breakfast sausage for breakfast. 2 packs of ground beef. I got a big thing of chicken breasts. That is it in terms of all of my refrigerated items. Now let's move on to all of my non-refrigerated items. I got some veggie straws and chocolate crackers. These are the kids' snacks. They have a lot of snacks left over from last week, so I didn't need to purchase too much this week. 2 boxes of mac and cheese, a box of spaghetti, and I don't know how do you pronounce it, but I've always just called this like shell pasta, some ketchup, and peanut butter. I needed another thing of peanut butter because we like to put this in our oatmeal. It's really good. Got a loaf of bread for breakfasts. And then lastly, some marinara sauce and a thing of beef broth. In total, I spent $99.88. Literally just under $100, which I always aim to go under $100 each week. I was not very optimistic this grocery trip because, like I said, I purchased a lot more things than what I typically purchase. So when I saw the price, my jaw literally like dropped because I was not expecting it to be that cheap. So I'm very, very happy with the grocery trip this week. tonight I'm doing a crock pot chili, and I am intentionally doing that because we will be gone most of the afternoon into early evening. My entire family will be going to our local fair and walking around there. We're also going to watch a concert there as well. And I was just wanting to have a dinner so that when we came home, it was already done. And what better kind of meal than a crock pot meal? So what I'm going to do is just basically make the chili on the stove and then transfer it into the crock pot so that when we get home, it is already done. All I gotta do is just serve it and we can eat. And this is one way to avoid going out to eat, is like knowing that dinner is literally already made when we get home. And so while we're gonna have kind of a later dinner, dinner will be ready the minute we step into the door. It's literally 1 o'clock. We need to leave our house. Oh, dang, it's 1 o'clock. We're supposed to be at the fair at 2. We're gonna be late. We are most certainly gonna be late because I probably won't get done with this until closer to like 1:15. Ellery just went down for her nap like 30 minutes ago. She fell asleep on my shoulder and drooled. You can see it. I felt like something really wet and I was like, what is that? And that is little toddler drool. So cute. I did want to make note that I did not purchase a can of kidney beans because I actually had some in the freezer. So what I do, and this is the cheapest way to make beans, is I buy like a bag of dry beans and then I will pressure cook those dry beans and portion it out into 15-ounce bags. So I have like a little scale that I measure everything in, and I already have kidney beans already pre-made. All I gotta do is just add it to whatever dish I'm needing kidney beans for. So what I'm going to do first is chop up half this onion and then chop this up as well. Brown up the ground beef with the onion, then add all of my seasonings, and I'll kind of show you the seasoning lineup here in a bit, and basically put in all the finishing touches of the chili. My seasoning lineup, we got some salt and pepper, then we got garlic, cumin, chili powder, and onion powder. The kidney beans are just about thawed, so once those are thawed, I'm going to add in my Roma tomato that I just diced up and then transfer everything to the crock pot. I'm just going to keep it on warm because I have found that my crock pot tends to burn things even on low, so I'm just going to keep it on the keep warm setting. I do think I need to add just a little bit of beef broth just to get it a little bit more liquidy because it's very thick right now. I typically add the beef broth just in like small splashes until I get the consistency that I want. Once that's all done, I'm going to transfer it real quick and I will show you guys the finished product when we get back from the fair. Tuesday. Tonight I'm making my homemade hamburger helper, and actually this dinner was requested by my friend. So even though this is what we're eating tonight, I'm also making this for a friend of mine who just had her baby. If I'm ever making a postpartum meal, what I do is I just make a big batch of it and then divide it among my family and then the family I will be delivering a meal to. That just makes my life a lot easier, not having to make 2 very different meals instead of making the same one, just making more of it. I have made this recipe in I think a previous eating on a budget video, but it's such a good one and absolutely worth coming back to. I probably won't be able to chat too much with you guys because I will be focused on making double than what I normally make and also making sure that I deliver this fresh to her door at dinner time so that all she has to do is scoop it onto a plate. Earlier that this is a one pot meal, which is really nice. And also keep in mind that because it is one pot with the pasta, be sure to stir every so often so that the pasta does not stick to the bottom of the pan. Also keep in mind with this recipe that if it looks like it needs a little bit more liquid, just add a little bit more broth. So have a little bit of extra broth on hand just in case you need to add a little bit more liquid to it. I wanted to quickly share the seasoning lineup that I used for this meal. So starting off, we got some Italian seasoning, some seasoned salt, garlic powder, and then smoked paprika. This is a game changer. Make sure it's smoked. Tastes so good. So that's the seasonings, and then once the pasta is all nice and soft, the ending ingredients will be this half and half. The recipe calls for heavy whipping cream, but I find that's just really expensive, so I use half and half as an alternative. And then a big thing of freshly shredded sharp cheddar cheese. Tonight for dinner, I am making easy chicken and gravy. This is a very simple but also kind of fancier meal. You're gonna feel like you're eating a fancy meal, but very much on a budget. It's very simple ingredients. I just got started on making some homemade mashed potatoes. I just peeled and then cubed up some russet potatoes. Going to get this boiling, and then I also stuck in some green beans that I just pulled out of the freezer. I'm going to be roasting the green beans up. Once they kind of thaw a little bit in the oven, I'm going to spritz some olive oil on it and throw on some salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. Sprinkle a little bit of freshly shredded Parmesan cheese, and that's it. Gonna let that roast up. And so while everything is cooking right now, I'm going to get started on frying up the chicken. What I do is I take the chicken, I season it with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I fry that up, and then I remove it to a plate, and then from there I'll get started on the gravy in the same pan that I cooked the chicken in. Dinner will be done pretty much in no time once I get that gravy started. I just put the chicken back into the pan and coated it with the gravy. I am now going to start up on my mashed potatoes. Once I've drained my mashed potatoes, I'm going to just put in some butter, half and half, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. I'm then going to blend that up using my handheld mixer. Tonight I am making $1 million spaghetti. It's basically traditional spaghetti with Alfredo sauce in it. So it's like an elevated spaghetti. It's really good. I've made it plenty times before and my family always gobbles this up. This recipe is basically cooked in like 3 different parts. So you obviously have to cook your pasta, and then you cook the meat sauce, and then you also cook the Alfredo sauce. I will say that this meal does require quite a few dishes, but if you have a dishwasher, it's not that bad. I also plan on roasting this bag of broccoli as our side, so I'm going to stick this into the oven and then get started on the $1 million spaghetti. My meat sauce is done. I'm just going to let that simmer on the stove. Once this is done, I'm going to drain the pasta and then put it into a casserole dish and just make the Alfredo sauce in this pot so I don't have to get out a third pot. Making the Alfredo sauce in this pot is just one way that I cut down on the amount of dishes for this recipe because, like I said, this recipe does tend to use quite a bit of pans. Once I get done with the Alfredo sauce, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the spaghetti noodles back in with the Alfredo sauce, toss it in that, then put it into the casserole dish, and then top it with the meat sauce and shredded mozzarella cheese and shredded Parmesan cheese, and then bake it in the oven for like 15 minutes. And that is the $1 million spaghetti. Dinner is done just like that. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, having roasted broccoli as the side. It is Friday, which means it's pizza night. Kind of the steps that I do, I need to roll this dough out, and then I also need to shred this block of mozzarella cheese. I have half a jar of marinara left over from yesterday's dinner, yesterday's $1 million spaghetti. I only used half jar, so I'm going to use up the rest of this jar today. And then I definitely am not going to use this whole bag of pepperoni. I'm probably going to use maybe half of it, and then I'm going to freeze the other half for a different pizza night. And that is pretty much it. That is like my 4-ingredient pepperoni pizza. Super simple. This is great for a Friday night, especially like a day like this. It is football season now, and it's starting to feel like fall with the weather. Like, I'm literally wearing a sweater today because it was kind of chilly outside. So I just feel like this dinner is just perfect for a night like this. And I always serve homemade pizza with a side salad. All of the recipes I made this week will be linked down below in the description box. If you'd also like to view September's meal plan, that will be linked down below as well. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me as I cooked a week's worth of dinners. I hope you found one that piqued your interest and would like to try out for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye, friends.